Most people think the law of attraction is about wanting harder, visualizing more, affirming louder, forcing the universe to listen. But here's the truth. That very effort creates resistance. What if it's not about how much you want, but about the signal you're sending when you want it? In this video, you'll discover why the law of attraction fails for most people and how to finally make it work, not by wishing, but by tuning your mind and body into alignment. By the end, you'll know how to shift from chasing what you desire to becoming the frequency that attracts it effortlessly. The truth behind the law of attraction isn't mystical, it's mechanical. Everything in the universe, including your thoughts, emotions, and even your posture, operates through frequency. Imagine your mind as a transmitter and your reality as the receiver. When the signal is clean, strong, and consistent, manifestation flows naturally. But when your energy is cluttered with worry, resistance, or contradiction, the message gets lost in noise. This is the real reason why the law of attraction fails for most people. Not because the law doesn't work, but because they never learned how to manage their own broadcast. Every emotion, belief, and micro-expression is part of that transmission. The stronger your coherence, the clearer your reality mirrors it back. Think of your baseline state as your station frequency. If you're tuned to lack, you'll only pick up scarcity-based experiences. If you're tuned to peace, life responds with flow. Most manifestation mistakes happen because people obsess over the external outcome, the money, the love, the success, instead of calibrating the inner frequency that attracts it. The secret isn't to want more, it's to emit better. That's where attention versus desire becomes everything. Desire screams, "I don't have it," while attention calmly says, "I'm connected to it." The universe doesn't read your language, it reads your consistency. The more stable your emotional field, the stronger your signal versus noise ratio becomes. And the moment that ratio tilts in your favor, manifestation stops feeling like magic. It becomes math. Your subconscious mind plays the role of the engineer in this invisible equation. It amplifies whatever pattern it's most familiar with, even if that pattern keeps you small. You can't overwrite it with surface thoughts. You have to reprogram it through state, repetition, and embodiment. This is where somatic manifestation takes the stage. When your body, breath, and mind agree, the signal becomes unstoppable. That's also where detachment and manifestation finally make sense. You're not letting go because you don't care. You're letting go because you trust the frequency is already locked in. Once you truly understand this mechanism, that manifestation is signal strength, not wishful thinking, you stop trying to force results and start fine-tuning resonance. And that shift leads us straight into the first big illusion people fall for, the myth that wanting harder somehow works. Here's the first trap that keeps people stuck: the belief that sheer wanting is the engine of creation. In this myth, more craving equals more magnetism, as if the law of attraction were a volume knob you crank with emotion. But wanting often broadcasts lack. The nervous system hears, "I don't have it," and your baseline state follows suit. That's why manifestation doesn't work when you double down on desire alone. The signal carries scarcity. In practice, this myth inflates noise, overthinking, compulsive future checking, and a subtle self-doubt that grows louder the harder you try. Consider the inner mechanics. Your subconscious mind is a pattern machine, not a wish dispenser. It generates coherence around whatever it believes you are now. Tell it you desperately want confidence, and it infers you're not confident. Tell it you must have money fast, and it hears danger, kicking your physiology into survival. That's somatic manifestation in real time. Tight jaw, shallow breath, and clenched belly. Bile signals of lack that jam your signal versus noise ratio. These invisible micro-signals are the quiet reason why the law of attraction fails for earnest strivers who want it more than anyone. Then come the law of attraction myths that fuel the spiral. If it's not here yet, want harder. Or if it hurts, it's working. Wanting harder can actually decouple you from results because it hijacks attention. Instead of clean focus, you get emotional static and identity friction. Without an identity shift, the system resists the new outcome because it threatens your current self-concept. Like, people like me don't hold that much love, money, or impact. That conflict births classic manifestation mistakes, excessive scripting without state change, binge affirmations on top of a dysregulated body, and a performative gratitude routine that your biology doesn't buy. Here's the mentor move. Swap desire inflation for attention calibration. The leverage isn't in craving more, it's in broadcasting cleaner. Ask, what am I actually tuned to right now? Map the attention versus desire gap. If the attention is on absence, your desire is just costume jewelry. Practice gentle detachment and manifestation, not numbness, but steadiness. Relax the grasp so your body stops signaling threat. When breath, posture, and tone settle, your baseline state stabilizes and the message gets simple enough for reality to mirror. And that opens the door to the real fix: how to direct attention so the signal finally outruns the noise. Desire screams, attention tunes. If the law of attraction is a broadcast, then your power isn't in wanting louder, it's in transmitting cleaner. Start by auditing the attention versus desire gap. List your top 3 outcomes, then write where your attention actually lives hour by hour. If you want wealth but attend to bills, fears, and scrolling comparison, your baseline state is scarcity. That's why manifestation doesn't work despite vision boards. The signal versus noise tilts toward lack. Reclaim attention with micro rituals: a 2-minute breath reset, a 1-minute posture check, and a 30-second intention sentence said slowly enough that your nervous system believes you. Directing attention is somatic before it's semantic. Your subconscious mind trusts sensations more than slogans, which is why "I am abundant" falls flat if your jaw is tight and your breath is shallow. Practice somatic manifestation cues that flip the body from survival to safety. Longer exhales than inhales, relaxing the tongue to soften the vagus response, widening peripheral vision to cue "no threat here." As the body settles, attention stabilizes, and desire stops leaking anxiety into the field. Now pair language with state. Speak one clear line only when your body feels open. No pressure in the chest, no clench in the belly. That single coherent line outperforms 1,000 frantic affirmations, and it's the quiet reason why the law of attraction fails for people who overtalk their way past their biology. Turn attention into practice with focus blocks. Choose one outcome and design a 20-minute block where every variable favors the frequency you want. Money goal? Put on instrumental tracks that you associate with competence. Open the document that moves revenue, and start with a 90-second gratitude for skill ramp. Not vague gratitude, specific, "I'm grateful I can write 3 persuasive emails." Love goal? Text one person genuine appreciation with 0 subtext. Then take a 10-minute walk rehearsing easeful eye contact and warm tone. These acts change identity. I am the person who does the signal. That's the real identity shift, not a slogan, but repeated evidence. Each block is a proof of signal rep, shrinking classic manifestation mistakes like perfectionism and procrastination. Finally, practice clean detachment. Detachment in manifestation is not "I don't care," it's "I'm not gripping." After a focus block, deliberately switch context. Close the tab, stand up, inhale through the nose, slow exhale through pursed lips, and name 5 neutral objects in the room. This resets attention without collapsing the frequency. You've broadcast. Now release the outcome so the system doesn't flag threat if not here yet. Track progress like an engineer. Each day score your signal: clarity, calm, consistency, rather than your results. When the signal stays sturdy for 7 to 10 days, results begin to catch up, because the universe mirrors coherence, not craving. And once attention is your default driver, a new question appears. If words alone don't move reality, What about the beloved promise of affirmations? Here's the next illusion that keeps seekers circling the same mountain: the belief that repeating the right words will somehow rewrite reality. The internet is full of people chanting affirmations as if language alone could override decades of subconscious mind programming. But here's the paradox. Your body doesn't believe what your mouth says when your baseline state contradicts it. You can whisper, "I am abundant," all day, but if your shoulders are slumped, your breath shallow, and your nervous system vibrating in lack, the signal versus noise ratio collapses. This is why the law of attraction fails for those who treat manifestation as linguistic theater. The universe doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to what you broadcast. Let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening. The law of attraction myths taught people that words have power, and they do, but only when paired with state. Your subconscious mind speaks the language of sensation, not syntax. Every muscle tension, every micro-expression, every heartbeat is an affirmation in itself. If you say, "I am confident," while your pulse races and your gut tightens, the message your energy sends is, "I am unsafe." These are classic manifestation mistakes, people layering shiny affirmations over unhealed signals. They end up reinforcing the very frequency they're trying to escape. True somatic manifestation happens when your body confirms your statement, when the nervous system rests enough to let the words land as truth. Here's what most don't realize. The real power of an affirmation isn't in repetition, it's in resonance. It's not about how many times you say it, but how deeply your body agrees. You can repeat, "I am love," 10,000 times, but one single, fully embodied breath of genuine love does more. That's when identity shift begins. Not when you say new words, but when you stop arguing with your old ones. To align body and words, practice state-first affirmations. Regulate, ground, and then speak. Feel the warmth in your chest before you say, "I am safe." Let your eyes soften before, "I am confident." When physiology and phrase synchronize, attention anchors, desire calms, and the signal versus noise ratio flips. The universe now hears coherence, not contradiction. And that's what brings us to the next fix: how to truly align the body and the words so manifestation becomes embodiment instead of performance. If the mouth is the speaker, the body is the amplifier. Most people try to manifest by speaking louder, repeating affirmations until they lose meaning. But real change happens when the law of attraction meets physiology. Words are only as powerful as the baseline state they ride on. If your breath is shallow, your spine collapsed, your jaw tense, your subconscious mind registers resistance, not readiness. So before you speak a single affirmation, you must tune the body to coherence. Think of it like tuning a guitar. You can't play the melody of abundance on strings wound too tight. Each exhale, each posture shift, each relaxed muscle brings your signal versus noise ratio closer to clarity. And that's the silent foundation of somatic manifestation. Let's get practical. Begin your morning with state-first alignment. Before reaching for your phone, sit upright and take 5 slow breaths through the nose. On each exhale, whisper your intention, not as a command, but as an agreement. For example, instead of shouting, "I am wealthy," in a panic tone, breathe into your abdomen, let your voice soften, and say, "I allow stability to move through me." This subtle linguistic shift tells the subconscious mind there's no threat in receiving. The universe reads that calm signal far more clearly than desperate declarations. Over time, this body-led practice rewires your identity. You begin to feel like the person your words describe. That's where the real identity shift begins, not in slogans, but in state repetition. Next, apply micro-alignment checks throughout the day. When you catch yourself saying something aspirational, like, "I'm calm," "I'm confident," "money flows easily," pause for 3 seconds, scan your body. Is your jaw tight, shoulders raised, belly clenched? Those are the hidden contradictions that make manifestation mistakes multiply. Instead of forcing the phrase, breathe and adjust your body until it matches the statement. Let your physiology echo your intention. Over days of repetition, this builds a powerful feedback loop. Body supports thought, thought reinforces body. That's how detachment and manifestation naturally emerges. You're not pretending to believe, you're physically inhabiting belief. Desire quiets because attention has found home. And finally, treat language like rhythm, not command. The best affirmations are lived, not recited. You could say, I am love 10 times with tension or once with warmth, and the latter changes your field. Pair every word with breath, posture, and presence until speech and sensation become one. That's when the law of attraction begins to operate like physics, not fantasy. You've replaced hollow repetition with embodied resonance, and the signal hums cleanly through every layer of you. Once the body and words march in unison, your reality starts to respond with precision because coherence is irresistible. And that, of course, leads to the next big misconception, that detachment in manifestation means not caring, when in truth, it's the deepest form of faith you can practice. Here's one of the most misunderstood ideas in the law of attraction, that detachment means apathy. People hear let go and think they must stop wanting, stop dreaming, stop feeling. But detachment and manifestation isn't emotional numbness, it's energetic precision. The universe doesn't reward indifference, it mirrors clarity. When you cling too tightly to your desire, your body starts broadcasting tension, scarcity, and doubt. Your baseline state becomes one of waiting instead of being, and that subtle signal tells reality it's not here yet. That's why the law of attraction fails for so many well-intentioned people. They mistake surrender for giving up and end up sending a message of absence rather than trust. Think of it like holding water. When you squeeze too tightly, it slips through your fingers. When you relax your hand, it rests easily in your palm. That's detachment in motion. It's not that you stop caring about the outcome, you just stop trying to control it through force. Real detachment is emotional steadiness, the art of staying tuned to your frequency no matter what's happening externally. Most manifestation mistakes stem from confusing control with clarity. You overthink, overcheck, overpray, creating energetic static. That static distorts your signal versus noise ratio, and your subconscious mind keeps registering not yet. Detachment restores the signal, calm, consistent, coherent. It tells the universe, I'm already aligned with what I seek. Here's the paradox. Caring deeply and detaching fully can coexist. You can want something without needing it to fill a void. When you've embodied your identity shift, the desire becomes an extension of who you already are, not proof of what you lack. In that state, attention becomes more powerful than desire. Your focus rests naturally on what's true, not on what's missing. That's where somatic manifestation helps again. Your breath stays steady, your shoulders relaxed, your tone grounded. The body's calm becomes the anchor that keeps your energy signal clear. When your physiology signals safety, your manifestations accelerate, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've stopped doubting. True detachment is the quiet confidence of knowing that what's meant for you cannot miss you. It's the stillness that amplifies your broadcast. The universe loves steady transmitters, not desperate ones. Each time you breathe through the urge to control, your field cleans itself of noise. That's how manifestation becomes effortless, not passive, but peaceful. When you master detachment, you master trust, and trust is the purest form of magnetism. From here, creation stops being a chase and becomes a collaboration, and that understanding takes us to the next stage of mastery, proving your alignment through daily, grounded action, turning invisible faith into tangible evidence. Here's the bridge between invisible and tangible. Action. The law of attraction doesn't mean sitting in lotus pose waiting for miracles. It means aligning your energies so precisely that movement becomes natural. Every action you take is a carrier wave of your frequency. When you act from coherence, not panic, the signal versus noise ratio tilts toward manifestation. The reason why manifestation doesn't work for so many is that they split energy and behavior. They visualize one thing but act from another identity. Real manifestation is behavioral evidence. It's not about forcing reality. It's about showing your subconscious mind consistent proof that your new frequency is safe to inhabit. Let's make this simple. Every morning, do one act that your future self would find obvious. Not grand, not glamorous, just congruent. If you're manifesting abundance, organize your finances not from fear, but stewardship. If you're calling in love, speak kindly to yourself before seeking validation. These micro actions broadcast clarity. I already am the person who has this. That's an identity shift in motion. Your nervous system starts catching up to your new baseline, rewriting what normal feels like. Each behavior becomes a somatic vote, a message to the universe that you're living the signal, not begging for it. And that's what dissolves the most common manifestation mistakes: inconsistency and spiritual bypassing. Daily action also anchors detachment in manifestation. You're no longer waiting for signs, you're generating them. Each task becomes an affirmation embodied. The mind says, I am confident. The body proves it by moving forward even in uncertainty. This feedback loop trains your subconscious mind faster than words ever could. It's why journaling without action feels hollow, and why endless affirmations without embodiment create fatigue. The universe isn't keeping score of how often you wish. It's measuring the coherence between your vibration and your visible choices. Each small, aligned action is a recalibration of your signal versus noise, a quiet reminder that clarity isn't passive, it's practiced. Think of your day as a lab, not a test. Every conversation, every routine, every breath is an experiment in alignment. When your choices mirror your focus, attention replaces effort. You no longer chase, you confirm. And once you've built enough proof through action, belief becomes automatic, because evidence backs it up. That's the hidden design of the law of attraction. The more you act from the new identity, the faster reality sinks. This is where manifestation graduates from theory to demonstration, where invisible intention turns into visible proof. And just when this balance between energy and action starts to click, another level of understanding emerges, the mechanism that explains it all, the tuner analogy. Imagine reality as a massive radio field. Every possibility, every version of you already exists as a frequency. The law of attraction isn't about creating new stations. It's about tuning your receiver. When your thoughts, emotions, and body are out of sync, you get static. That's signal versus noise. You might visualize wealth while your baseline state hums scarcity, or say, I am love, while your nervous system clenches in defense. The result? Interference. The subconscious mind keeps looping familiar frequencies, and your outer world echoes them back. That's why the law of attraction fails for those who try to think their way to new outcomes while vibrating in old identities. Now imagine a tuner that locks onto a station only when the signal is stable. You can't force it by twisting the dial faster. You have to pause and let it click into clarity. That's manifestation in motion. Your attention versus desire determines the precision of that tuning. Attention anchors the needle, while desire shakes it. The more you regulate your somatic manifestation, breath, posture, presence, the more stable your broadcast becomes. Once the frequency locks, reality can't help but match it, because coherence is gravity. This is the science behind identity shift. When your new frequency holds steady, the old version of you simply fades from reception. The beauty of this model is that it removes superstition. It shows that manifestation isn't a mystery, it's maintenance. You don't need to wish harder, you need to reduce static. Each act of emotional regulation, each moment of calm focus, clears the line between you and what you seek. That's detachment in manifestation at its core. Trusting that the station you're tuned into is already broadcasting. All you have to do is keep your dial steady. And when that steadiness becomes habit, we can finally test the theory in action. through a simple, structured practice designed to strengthen your signal day by day, the 7-day fix. Here's where theory becomes muscle. The law of attraction isn't mastered through reading, it's embodied through repetition. This 7-day fix is designed to strengthen your signal versus noise ratio until coherence becomes your new baseline state. Each day targets one alignment pillar: state, attention, body, language, action, detachment, and proof. It's not about doing more, it's about doing cleaner. Think of it as a calibration week, a systematic identity upgrade where you stop begging for outcomes and start broadcasting stability. The rule is simple: quality of signal over quantity of effort. Day 1. State reset. Begin your morning with 2 minutes of grounding. Bare feet, straight spine, eyes open. Observe your body before setting any goals. Ask, what frequency am I sending right now? This alone reveals most manifestation mistakes. Then inhale through the nose for 4 counts, exhale for 6. That longer exhale tells your subconscious mind, safe. Finish with one intention spoken calmly, not forcefully. Today, I move with clarity. That's your first somatic manifestation practice. Day 2. Attention audit. Track where your focus actually lives. Every 30 minutes, jot down, am I tuned to desire or to noise? You'll see how easily attention versus desire flips under stress. Correct gently, not critically. When you notice distraction, touch your chest and say, back to signal. This retrains focus to be embodied, not intellectual. Day 3, body-word sync. Before any affirmation, check your posture, breath, and tone. Only speak when your body agrees. If you can't relax while saying it, it's too soon to declare it. That's how you prevent law of attraction myths from turning into hollow rituals. Day 4, aligned action. Take one visible step your future self would call obvious, something small but clean. This builds identity shift through evidence. Day 5, detachment drill. After every aligned action, walk away for 10 minutes with full sensory focus. Notice sounds, colors, smells. This resets attention without collapsing frequency. Real detachment in manifestation. Day 6, signal proof. Write 3 sentences beginning with, I noticed, to track synchronicities or improved emotional stability. You're training your nervous system to register proof of coherence. Day 7, integration. Review your week. Where did calm become default? Where did noise shrink? This reflection cements a new baseline state. Repeat this cycle for 21 days and watch why manifestation doesn't work become obsolete. You'll notice subtle shifts first: more grounded mornings, smoother timing, easier communication. The universe doesn't need you to shout, it needs you to stabilize. The 7-day fix is the bridge between knowing and being, the moment where the law of attraction stops being theory and starts being physics. And once you've proven to yourself that signal can be trained, it's time to handle what comes next, the doubts that inevitably arise when reality starts to bend in your favor. The moment you start aligning your signal, the mind protests. It whispers, this can't be that simple. If the law of attraction worked, I'd already has results. Doubt is not the enemy. It's the final layer of noise before clarity. Your subconscious mind has been running old programs for years. When you shift frequency, it panics because the familiar feels safe, even if it's painful. That's why manifestation doesn't work for people who quit at the wobble. They interpret resistance as failure instead of feedback. The key is to understand that doubt isn't proof that you're off track. It's proof that you're rewriting identity. Every identity shift triggers a kind of energetic detox, where your body flushes disbelief through sensations, tightness, restlessness, fatigue. It's not regression, it's recalibration. Another objection goes like this: but I've tried everything: affirmations, visualizations, scripting, and nothing sticks. The answer is in your baseline state, not your rituals. Most law of attraction myths sell tools without teaching state regulation. You can't plant seeds in stormy soil. If your nervous system is dysregulated, no practice will root. This is where somatic manifestation saves you. Before repeating an affirmation, stretch your shoulders, lengthen your breath, and feel your feet on the floor. That 30-second pause changes the signal versus noise ratio more than an hour of forced positivity. Manifestation is biological before it's magical. And when you understand that, you stop chasing outcomes and start conditioning your vessel to hold them. The last doubt usually sounds logical, but hides emotional fatigue. But here's the paradox. Every transformation begins as self-deception that becomes self-definition. You don't fake it, you frequency it. Every day you align body, word, and action, you're teaching reality who you are. The universe doesn't demand perfection, it mirrors progression. Even minor improvements in attention versus desire compound into tangible shifts. So the next time you feel doubt creeping in, don't fight it. Breathe it through, regulate, and act anyway. Doubt fades in motion. That's how you prove faith through frequency. Because when belief becomes embodied proof, the question is no longer, will it work? It's who am I becoming? And that evolution leads us to the core of it all, the gravitational pull of identity itself, where being replaces doing. Here's the ultimate secret the law of attraction community rarely talks about. Your identity is gravity. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Every thought, posture, and decision broadcasts your self-concept. If you believe you're the kind of person who barely gets by, the universe organizes itself to prove you right. If you embody calm confidence, opportunities appear that match your steadiness. This is the hidden reason why manifestation doesn't work for those who chase outcomes without shifting identity. They're trying to pull reality into orbit while anchored to an old self. But when your baseline state stabilizes into a new frequency, reality begins to reorganize around you, not through effort, but through inevitability. Identity isn't an idea, it's a signal. The subconscious mind runs identity scripts 95% of the time, shaping what you notice, how you act, and what feels possible. When you perform affirmations from an unhealed identity, you generate signal versus noise conflict. Part of you broadcasts abundance, the other part whispers, impossible. True transformation happens when all parts of you, mental, emotional, and physical, agree on who you are becoming. That's somatic manifestation at its core, not pretending, but inhabiting. You begin walking differently, speaking slower, breathing deeper. The energy field shifts from seeking to being. And because the universe mirrors vibration, it adjusts to your new default automatically. Think of identity as planetary mass. The more stable it becomes, the stronger its gravitational pull. Attention is the orbit, desire is the spin, and belief is the core density. Once your identity holds enough mass, manifestation ceases to feel like pursuit. It becomes magnetism. Detachment in manifestation then transforms from a technique into a trait. You no longer need to let go, because you're no longer gripping. You've become the frequency itself. Every coherent habit, your morning grounding, your aligned actions, your calm responses, adds weight to the new self until it becomes unshakable. And from this space, the question changes entirely. Not how do I attract it, but how do I maintain the signal of who I already am? That reframe is liberation. The moment you stop chasing and start orbiting your own gravity. And as identity locks in, one final piece remains: how to sustain momentum, stay connected, and prepare for the next phase, where we dive into your night script and anchor this signal while you sleep. You've tuned the signal, trimmed the noise, and felt the first clicks of identity gravity. Now imagine locking that frequency while you sleep. Tonight, your subconscious mind will keep broadcasting whatever your baseline state rehearsed today. So why not turn law of attraction from daytime effort into overnight momentum?